Just thought I'd give you a quick update on my Corsa B. For those of you who don't know, own that car, you can look at my other videos for a review on it. It's a little 1 litre and it's been a really reliable daily driver up until last year when I had a myriad of problems with it. The MAF sensor went, coil pack went, so on and so on and so on. And what ultimately resulted for some bizarre reason was one day it cut out. Tried to restart it, restarted, and a really loud knock from the engine. And I just thought, right, stuff it, just going to drive it home. But then the knock kind of went away. But it's still there in the background. I just thought it was the top end, so I replaced the camshafts, the rockers, tappets, timing chain, and unfortunately the knock was still there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I should have done before replacing anything, and that is try and diagnose where the knock was coming from. Now the ideal way of doing this is to get a mechanic's stethoscope. It's £5 from Amazon, but I've spent enough money on this car and I was so fed up with it I didn't even want to spend a £5, so I can show you how you might be able to diagnose an engine knock. As you'll see from the following video, I was able to diagnose it, and you'll see in future updates what my plan will be when I decide what that plan's going to be. I've now diagnosed what the engine knock is, and I thought I would let some education come out of my own woe. So I've discovered what it is, and I'll show you how I've identified it, and then I'll tell you what it is. The engine's not running at the moment because you won't hear me over the noise of it obviously, and you'll see it's quite self-explanatory. I don't need to, so all I used was this file, solid instrument with a nice thick plastic hard handle at the end, and you can remember it was knocking from the top end. Try and get this in shot so we can actually see it. All done. Okay, so let's see, put the file on this end, put my ear tip, didn't hear anything, put my file on this end, heard it a little bit, so I couldn't get right down to the block safely, so what I did was I got as close as I could to the block, very bottom of the cylinder head there, and put my ear to it and clack, 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 clack. It is extremely loud. So it looks like it is small end damage. So that's the connecting rod between the crankshaft and the piston. It's the one that's closest to the piston. It looks like that is got play in it. Now I remember when I checked the spark plugs on it, there was a piece of the spark plug missing, just a little electrode part. Don't know if that's the cause of it or not, but the engine is basically scrap. Another way to check if you've got any bearings that are away is to run it for a bit, check your oil if you've got silvery glittery bits in it. Now mine doesn't have that because I think it's right at the start of failing, but nevertheless it's on its way out, and the engine is basically scrap, so it's going to need to get a new engine. So at least now I know I've diagnosed it. I didn't even need to spend £5 on a mechanic stethoscope, which is probably a good, safer way of doing it. I'd probably recommend you do that, but for the purposes of this, it's quite safe to do so, and I've diagnosed it. So the next update, who knows, the car will probably be in bits.